For those who are trying to figure out how to get your garden started, have a few pointers, some how-tos on some ideas that you can use that you'll find work fairly well. Seed starting is maybe an art. Some of it is easy and some of it I'm still learning. There's some nuances to certain types of seeds that you got to know. But some of the seeds, they're easy. They go really great. There's just a few things you have to know. Everybody loves tomatoes, and we're wanting to get an early start on our tomatoes and have some great tomatoes, and there's a few other plants as well, but I'm going to show you primarily tomatoes right now. We've started some seeds here a while back, and they've grown up a bit, but I want to show you the stages that go on. What we have here are some soil blocks, and we have another post that talks about our soil blocks and shows how they work. If you look closely, you can see some of these are starting to germinate and come up. Now, some seeds like to be in dark, some want a little bit of light. They all want moisture and the right kind of temperature. Some seeds want warm temperatures, some seeds don't want warm temperatures. So you got to know what's going on with the particular seed that you have. Now, here are some tomato seeds that are just getting started. They're in our 2-inch soil blocks. As you can see, I'm just using a standard inexpensive fluorescent light that's shown on this. You want it down fairly close. You don't want it touching, and we're starting to get to where we're touching on these, so we're going to have to start raising these lights up just a little bit. Anyway, that's fantastic. Some other kinds of seeds here. We have some onions and some celery growing up right there. Showing you the next stage here. These are tomatoes that have been at it for a little while. They're starting to come up great. We have quite a few, as you can see. Different kind of light here. These are the new LED lights. A little more expensive to buy, cheaper to run, a lot brighter light coming out of them. Those are the two stages that we got going on. Now we've taken the 2-inch blocks and put them in these bigger pots. We'd like to have had larger pots than this, but this is what was available when we went to the store, so this is what we're using. We'll have these in here a week or so. We may need to repot them into something larger, and we may be putting them out into our garden area where we have them. So the how-to is get your seed started, check the specifics for the seed, that you're starting it at the right temperature, and make certain that you have it moist like it needs to be moist, somewhat moister than others, so you have to watch that. And you'll know the approximate amount of time it takes for them to germinate, so you can watch for that and have that ready to go. And then keep the lights close. We had the lights right down on them when they first start, like these that are starting to come up. We're going to need to move them up to the lights so that they can be within just a few inches of the light, and then as they grow taller, you move your lights up and up. And then at some point they're big enough you can place them out in the garden. And that's kind of up to you. It has to do with weather conditions, temperatures, and the particular plant. So we need to get into specifics on that, but this is a general how-to on starting seeds. Hope you enjoyed it.
I have been looking for a recipe for a very long time for mayonnaise. I've made a few and I haven't liked any of them. In fact, I have thrown them out. I have a recipe for a healthy mayonnaise that is homemade, that is so good. And this is what it looks like. It's beautiful. It looks like mayonnaise. It has a little bit of a tang of lemon to it. It is really, really good. I'm not kidding you. We just made a big batch of egg salad with using it with celery and onions in with our eggs, and it's gorgeous. So I'm going to show you how to make homemade mayonnaise. And for homemade mayonnaise, you do not want to use an extra virgin olive oil. You want to use a light olive oil. So I found a light. This is what I've used. It's not cold pressed, so you have to go with a good brand, or hopefully you're going with a good brand so that you know what it is. I hope this is a good olive oil and that it's truly olive oil. But I can tell you that it came out really, really well. So once again, you do not want to use extra virgin. It has to be light, otherwise the taste is too overpowering. So here we go. And just so that you know, I made the last one with my emulsifier. And so you can make it with an emulsifier or with the food processor. So I'm going to try it with the food processor and hope that it works. It worked perfect with the emulsifier. I did it in a quart jar, and it worked really well. My hand just got a little bit tired, so I thought, well, let's try this one and see how it works this time. So I'm going to put in 1 egg,
1/2 teaspoon of salt,
1/2 teaspoon of dry mustard, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of sugar, and I use coconut sugar. And then you push that together. Then I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of white vinegar and 2 teaspoons of lemon. And I just fresh squeeze my lemon. So I'm going to combine the 2 of these, swirl those together, and add half of that to my mixture and start beating it together. Now very, very slowly, I add the oil. And when the oil is halfway in, then I'm going to add the other half of the lemon and vinegar. And this is going all over. Yay! The other half of the vinegar and the lemon. And then keep adding this. It did not work for me in the food processor. So I've put it into a jar. I don't know that it's going to work now because you're supposed to beat it as you add all that to it. I can tell you that this is what it turned out, and by the time I had all of the oil added in, it was completely emulsified. So I think I may have ruined this batch. Not sure what to do about that. Maybe it'll be like a salad dressing on a salad. Just do it that way. So sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but I'm still going to put the video on because you have the recipe. I did it in the jar. If you do exactly what I did there in the jar but using the emulsifier, this is how perfect it comes out. There you go.